Hello, chosen ones, awaken your spirits. The brightest stars are formed amid the deepest turmoil. What if the pain you experienced was not random, but planned? What if every betrayal, humiliation, and unspeakable brutality were part of a larger, almost cosmic plot to shatter you before transforming you into someone the world cannot ignore? This is a disturbing reality. History's greatest symbols, from innovators to revolutionaries, often have a similar thread. Their lives started with anguish. Nikola Tesla was shunned and scorned. Harriet Tubman was hunted like prey. Even Van Gogh died destitute and humiliated. Greatness, it seems, necessitates a blood sacrifice. Not of your choice, of course, but let us not kid ourselves. What happened to you is not poetry. It was not noble. It was horrible, calculated, to be brutally honest, sick beyond belief. They attempted to remove you before you even realized who you were. That isn't simply unfairness. It's complete craziness. And yet, here you are, scarred, yet still living. Broken, yet unbowed. Perhaps even silently chuckling. Because in their warped efforts to ruin you, they unintentionally gave you the one thing they dreaded the most. A narrative that will leave you unstoppable. So let's speak about it. Because if you've been wondering whether all of this pain is for nothing, here's the answer. They did not strive so hard to break you for nothing. Number one, the paradox of the selected. Being the chosen one is a contradiction. A paradox that few would ever comprehend. On the surface, it seems magnificent, like some golden destiny encased in glory and adoration. However, the truth is far different. It's a job that isolates you, breaks you, and often makes you wonder why you were picked at all. You are defined by your journey to greatness, not your arrival there. It's a hard, soul-crushing trek to get there. People notice the brightness, but ignore the darkness that created it. They appreciate your strength, resilience, and achievement. However, they do not know the cost. They don't witness the evenings when you sobbed till your chest felt empty. The betrayals that sliced into your trust were the occasions when you questioned your own value. Being selected does not mean being the strongest. It's about survival, when everything around you is meant to break you. It's a lonely journey too. Even your loved ones struggle to comprehend. They do not understand why things happen to you in the manner they do. They can term you unfortunate, eccentric, or even cursed. But you know there's something unique about you. You aren't on the same wavelength as everyone else. Your troubles seem too particular and unrelenting. It's as if the universe has chosen you for something greater than your current existence. The cruelest truth. All of this is heading to something remarkable. You just have to live long enough to witness it. Number two is the unseen conflict. The toughest conflicts are those that no one else sees. What happened to you wasn't simply a sequence of harsh acts. It was an unseen fight on your mind, soul, and sense of self. There were no weapons or apparent scars, but the harm was just as serious, if not worse. It's the kind of suffering that people ignore because they cannot see it. They don't realize how deeply it wounds or how it remains, changing every aspect of who you are. This was never about physical damage. The idea was to shatter you in a manner that kept you alive. But it is hollow to doubt your own value. Every word they spoke, every manipulation, every betrayal, they were not accidents. They were carefully targeted. Strikes aimed to make you question yourself. The worst thing was that it frequently worked. You become locked in a cycle of overthinking, blaming oneself for events you did not cause, and wondering why you couldn't just get over it. The severity of this kind of warfare stems from its obscurity to the outer world. Nothing appeared incorrect. You smiled, went about your day, and continued going ahead, all while waging a battle that no one else saw. People may have even considered you strong because you didn't break down in front. But within, it seemed like you were gradually dissolving piece by piece. What makes this disease unbelievable is that it wasn't just about harming you. It was all about manipulating you. It was about convincing you that you were helpless, insignificant, and incapable of escape. But here is a reality. They didn't count on you. Even in the unseen conflict, you were stronger than they realized. And the fact that you're still here demonstrates they never really won. Number 3, a disease based on jealousy. Envy is a silent, destructive force. It lurks beneath smiles, casual banter, and even pretended care. The reality is that much was done to you. The deception, manipulation, and brutality were not random. It was fueled by envy, a disease that pushes individuals to destroy what they cannot own or be. They saw something in you that they didn't have but badly desired. Perhaps it was your perseverance, your radiance, or just your promise. Whatever it was, it made them feel insignificant and compared. But jealousy is seldom expressed openly. Instead, it presents itself as criticism, sabotage, or assistance. They could have told you that you weren't good enough, that you'd never amount to anything, or that you were foolish for having such lofty dreams. Not because it was true, but because they couldn't stand to watch you succeed. The concept of your accomplishment made them think about their own doubts, disappointments, and goals they never dared to pursue. 4. The most twisted aspect was how intimate it seemed. Their actions were not only an assault on what you'd done, they were an assault on your identity. They wanted you to question yourself, to dull your light so that they could be more comfortable in their own darkness. For a time, they may have succeeded. Perhaps you shrunk yourself, second-guess your abilities, or attempt to fit into a version of yourself that does not harm them. But here is the irony. Envy destroys the one who bears it much more than the person it attacks. They were so focused on shattering you that they didn't see the reality. You were never a competitor. You were just evidence of what is possible. And this is something they will never comprehend. Number 4, the universe serves as a test of merit. The cosmos has an unusual method of selecting its finest soldiers. Your trials, however terrible and foolish they may seem, are not arbitrary. They're intentional, like a blacksmith's hammer, forming steel into something indestructible. But let us be clear, this is not a glorified view of pain. It's rough, violent, and sometimes seems entirely unwarranted. When the universe chooses to put your value to the test, it does it harshly. It strips you down to your core, leaving just the essence of who you are. These proceedings are not about punishment. They are about preparedness. Tremendous positions need tremendous strength, and that strength isn't given freely. It must be won via the fire of struggle. The pain you encounter serves as a furnace, removing the superficial and pushing you to face the raw, unfiltered version of yourself. Who are you when you have nothing left to hold to? What do you stand for when everything else fails? These are the questions that the universe needs answers to. The irony is that you probably did not sign up for this. Nobody begs to be tested, especially in ways that crush their spirit. But for reasons you may not completely comprehend, you were selected. The universe detected something in you, a potential, a light, or the capacity to soar above the turmoil that would consume most people. Here's the brutal reality. Not everyone passes these examinations. Some people get so consumed by their grief that they lose sight of the wider picture. But if you're still standing and battling, you're demonstrating your value. Not to anybody else, but to yourself and the cosmos that has brought you here. And when the time comes to take on your remarkable position, you'll realize why the fire was required. Number 5, the gaslighting of your magnificence. Gaslighting your brilliance is one of the world's most cunning ways to keep you tiny. It begins early, typically with those closest to you: family, friends, teachers, and those you should be able to trust. They advise you to be modest or realistic, not because they want the best for you, but because they are uncomfortable with the immensity of what you may become. Your potential disturbs them, so they persuade you that it does not exist at all. Society also contributes to the situation. It encourages uniformity while punishing those who attempt to stand out. The world dislikes those who cannot be controlled. When you start to exhibit indicators of being more than average, it is easy to describe you as arrogant, demanding, or deluded based on your ideas, abilities, or sheer perseverance. It's not incorrect to believe in oneself. Your conviction disturbs the system. The most frightening aspect of gaslighting is how effective it can be. Over time, you may begin to absorb it. You find yourself doubting your talents, limiting your goals, or being silent when you should be proclaiming your truth. You convince yourself you're just like everyone else, even when everything within you says otherwise. But deep inside, you understand the truth. You can feel it as the cacophony quiets down. When you are alone with your thoughts, that flame of grandeur hasn't vanished. It's just been buried behind layers of skepticism established by others. This is the reality. The world does not gaslight something that is not a danger. They wouldn't try so hard to make you question yourself if your potential wasn't genuine. The sooner you accept that reality, the faster you'll become unstoppable. And that is precisely what they are terrified of. Number 6, the dehumanization you experienced. What you experienced was more than simply brutality. It was an assault on the basic foundations of your humanity. It extended beyond physical pain and emotional manipulation. The intention was far darker, to make you feel less human, to take away your dignity, self-worth, and connection to the world around you. They weren't satisfied with just hurting you. They intended to empty you out until just a shell remained. This is what makes it an unbelievably severe illness. True cruelty does not end with delivering hurt. It wants to obliterate. They did not simply target your confidence or happiness. They came for your identification. They wanted you to forget who you were, disconnect from your value, and wonder if you really deserve to live. It's in the way they handled you, as if your suffering wasn't important, as if your voice was unworthy of being heard. It's in how they attempted to make you invisible, reducing your existence to something unimportant. This kind of dehumanization gradually creeps into your consciousness. You begin to view yourself as they meant you to be, tiny, helpless, and worthless. But here is the reality. They never understood. Dehumanization works only if you let it. They misjudged the strength of the human spirit. Your spirit? Yes. They took away warmth, affection, and maybe even hope for a period. However, they will never be able to completely obliterate what makes you unique. It is difficult to overcome such gloom, and it does not happen overnight. But every step you take toward restoring your humanity is a protest against their illness. You demonstrate that even the darkest efforts to ruin someone may fail. They attempted to eliminate you, yet you are still present. And that is more powerful than they could have anticipated. Number 7, resilience, which confuses the abusers. Your perseverance defies explanation, even for those who have done their utmost to break you. They believed they had you trapped, smashed, or annihilated. They threw everything at you: manipulation, abuse, isolation, expecting you to break under the weight of it all. For a time, maybe you did. Perhaps you questioned yourself. Perhaps you fell. Maybe you remained down longer than you intended. But against all odds, you climbed back up. This is what scares them. Not only did you survive, but you refused to remain shattered. They don't comprehend that type of strength since they don't have it. People who attempted to destroy others did so out of fear and weakness. They put their inadequacies onto you, expecting that by breaking you, they would feel stronger. However, when you emerge stronger, smarter, and more determined than before, they are taken by surprise. Your strength reveals something they don't want to face: their own fragility. They don't understand how you're still standing, since they know they wouldn't withstand the same ordeal. They detest you because of it, but their anger stems from their own incompetence. They wanted you to fail because it would validate their own flaws. Instead, you've become a mirror, reflecting back the aspects of themselves that they desire to ignore. The more you succeed, the more perplexed they get. They'll hold on to their resentment, telling themselves it's unjust that you were fortunate or favored, but deep down they know the reality. They underestimated you. They believed they were scripting your conclusion, but all they did was lay the groundwork for your greatest comeback. Nothing scares an abuser more than the realization that they never had control over you. The chosen, number 8, are mirrors. Being selected implies more than just being in the world. You mirror it. You become a mirror for others around you, revealing their strengths, shortcomings, and whatever they attempt to conceal. Your very presence might disturb individuals because it pushes them to face facts they would rather avoid. It's not something you do consciously. It's just who you are. But for many, the thought is too much to endure. When people see you, they see more than just you. They see what they are not. Your drive emphasizes their complacency. Your boldness heightens their terror. Your perseverance serves as a reminder of their excuses. And it might seem like an assault, even if all you've done is be yourself for people who refuse to confront their own darkness. It's simpler to blame you than to confront their shortcomings. This is why the chosen one often confronts hostility. It's not really about you. It is all about what you represent. They project their fears, anger, and frustration onto you because it is safer than confronting themselves. If they can persuade themselves that you're the issue, they'll be able to avoid asking hard questions about their own life. But here's the hard part. Being a mirror is lonely. The same thing that makes you unique also separates you. People will condemn, detest, and even despise you, not for anything you've done, but for the facts you expose. However, it is part of the job you have been assigned. Your light isn't supposed to be buried just because it makes others uncomfortable. The world needs mirrors, even if people choose not to look. And for every person who rejects what they see in you, another will be encouraged to confront their own mirror and make positive changes. This is the actual power of being selected. Number 9, the loneliness of discovering the truth. Seeing the truth is a blessing and a burden. The deeper your struggles, the clearer your vision gets. Your agony has given you an uncomfortable clarity about the world, how people function, the falsehoods they make to live, and the corrupt and controlling institutions that underpin society. This insight does not come without a cost. The more you see, the more difficult it is to connect to others who are blind to it. The majority of people live in comfortable delusions. They do not want to face the unpleasant realities of themselves, their relationships, or the world around them. However, you cannot unsee what life has shown you. You detect the manipulations hidden beneath smiles, fear disguised as authority, and greed cloaked behind so-called altruism. It is not that you want to witness these things. They are abundantly clear to anybody who has been through the worst. This clarity separates you. It is difficult to express to others what you have come to comprehend. If you try, they may regard you as cynical, neurotic, or even deluded. They do not want to see what you see because the truth is weighty, and most people are not prepared to bear it. So you stroll alone, burdened with information that sets you apart from the pack. But this loneliness is also what distinguishes you. By seeing through the falsehoods, you have become a lighthouse, someone who can lead others through the fog, even if they refuse. You may not have requested for this position at first, but now you have it. And although solitude might be agonizing at times, it is also a sign of your strength. The world needs individuals who can see clearly, even if it is difficult. Without them, the falsehoods would go uncontested, and the disease would spread uncontrollably. Number 10. The burden of tremendous power. Many people misinterpret your power as a gift. It is a burden. People regard you as someone who has everything together, someone who does things with ease. However, every ounce of that power had a cost. You did not ask for this. You did not select to be the one who had to face the agony, problems, and endless obstacles. This route selected you, and it left wounds that most people can't even imagine. Strength is often idealized, seen as something to respect and envy. But they don't grasp that genuine strength is built on a foundation of pain. You rose from the ashes because you had been burnt. Every war you fought created scars that will never completely heal. You wear them not as trophies, but as reminders of how much it costs to survive. It's difficult to be strong when the world continuously demands it from you. There's an implicit idea that individuals like you don't break, suffer, or require assistance. But the fact is that your strength comes from having been shattered and rebuilt more times than you want to remember. Your resilience is built on hardship, not privilege. You fight because you do not have a choice. And with each win, there is always another struggle ahead. People see the power, but not the hardship that comes with it. They don't witness your silent tiredness or times of uncertainty, which you fight through because there is no other choice. This path was not selected by you. It was pressed on you. And although you bear it, you also recognize that your strength isn't merely a result of survival. It's a tribute to the conflicts that others never had to fight. Number 11. The power of extreme forgiveness. There is a power in forgiveness that most people can never completely comprehend. It's not about letting your abusers off the hook or pretending what happened to you didn't matter. No, it's about regaining something that they attempted to take from you. Your peace. The true power of forgiveness resides in moving beyond the pain. Not for their sake, but for your own. It's a bold act that goes against everything they've attempted to make you feel. When you forgive, you do not excuse their behavior. You're refusing to let them rule you anymore. Every time you cling onto resentment or bitterness, you give them control over you. They continue to exist in your mind and influence your ideas and feelings, even long after the torture has ended. But when you choose forgiveness not as a gift to them, but as a kind of self-liberation, you shatter the bonds. You let go of the grip they held on your spirit. Forgiveness does not imply forgetting. It entails admitting the grief, addressing the harm, and then making the deliberate choice to let go. It is the ultimate rejection of the control they believe they had over you. Because by forgiving, you regain power. You resolve that the past will not determine your future, that the wounds they cause will not define who you are. This is what makes forgiveness revolutionary. It's an affirmation of your own strength. It expresses that you are greater than the suffering they gave you. You're not their victim. You're your own individual. You are free to go ahead. It's the type of power that scares those who have attempted to destroy you. Because once you forgive, you are unstoppable. And this is the ultimate form of vengeance. Number 12. Your narrative as a catalyst for change. What happened to you was not a unique incident. It is part of a much wider systemic trend that has persisted across centuries. The illness you suffered isn't simply personal. It is prevalent and deeply embedded in society. It is in the systems that mute, the institutions that oppress, and the cultures that tolerate brutality. But here's the compelling reality. Your tale, fresh and uncensored, is not uniquely yours. By sharing it, you give voice to so many people who have suffered silently, buried behind their own sorrow and humiliation. The more you speak up, the more you awaken people to the truth of what they have not had the opportunity to experience. The words you choose to express your anguish reflect their own challenges. And in that introspection, they realize they are not alone. You're giving them permission. They were never required to address their own wounds in order to confront the ways in which they had been silenced and rise above what had happened to them. There is real power in stating your truth. It is not only about venting or seeking sympathy. It's about breaking the silence that has held so many people back by sharing your experience. You not only recover your own story, but also battle the system that seeks to conceal it. Your words become a catalyst for change, igniting a wave of healing, resilience, and communal rebellion. The suffering you bear may have been imposed on you, but how you utilize it is entirely up to you. By expressing your suffering, you are changing it into a strong force that not only heals you, but also ignites the fires of empowerment in others. And here is when real transformation starts. What happened to you is not random. It was part of a wider, darker system designed to reduce your value, silence your voice, and crush your soul. Despite everything, you're still here. Your tale is one of overcoming great obstacles and demonstrating courage in the face of unspeakable evil. It's the narrative of someone who has been challenged and pushed to the edge, yet has still found a way to succeed. Pain, betrayal, and dehumanization. They were all intended to make you feel little and forget your strength. But in the process, you found something that no one can take away from you. Your strength and perseverance are not a luxury. It's a weapon forged in fire, a power that frightens those who attempted to shatter you. Your forgiveness isn't for them. This is your emancipation, your ultimate act of rebellion. A proclamation that you will not be constrained by their hostility or fear. You've evolved into more than simply a survivor as a result of your experiences. You've become a force for change. Your experience, presented with all of its rawness and candor, serves as a light for those who have suffered in silence. By sharing it, you become their voice, giving them permission to heal, rise, and reclaim what has been taken from them. And in this, you know that the exact thing they intended to kill you, the anguish and suffering, will eventually set you free. This is the significance of being selected. You were the only one who could take the weight, carry the strain, and stand firm when all else broke. And now, as you rise, you are paving the path for others to do the same. The world may have attempted to break you, but your indomitable spirit will ultimately alter everything. You are not just a survivor. You represent a force, a movement, and the future itself. And nothing, not even the darkest powers, can take it away from you. If you felt the weight of what I spoke, and your heart resonated with the power that can only be created in fire, you are not alone. This path is not all mine. It is ours. So, if you're ready to keep embracing your power and rising above to become the force you were born to be, I encourage you to join this group. Subscribe to the channel and join a movement that acknowledges your value, perseverance, and untapped potential. This area is for those who refuse to be silenced, for those who dare to speak the truth and climb higher than ever before. Together, we will continue to speak out. Keep breaking the restraints and illuminating the path for others. If you liked our video, please like and share it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care and farewell.